When I first saw The Twilight Zone, I was 7 years old, sitting in my parents' bedroom late one night. That swirling spiral and eerie theme music terrified me and hooked me at the same time. My mom rushed me off to bed, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Years later, I finally caught those late-night reruns, the original half-hour episodes that pulled me right back into that strange, fascinating world. Most folks remember the classics, Time Enough at Last, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet, Eye of the Beholder. Great episodes, no question, but for me, it's the others. The ones that stuck in my head long after the credits faded. Some make me smile, some still give me the chills, and others leave me staring at the screen in quiet reflection. They're not just great stories, they're my favorite stories, the ones that shaped how I love this remarkable series. So come back with me through that shimmering doorway, and let's revisit the episodes that remind me why The Twilight Zone still stands as one of the greatest TV shows ever made, and why it still matters. Fantasy, sci-fi, nostalgia, reruns them. Number 10, Third from the Sun, Season 1, Episode 14.
48 hours we'll have 'em aloft. Then whoosh, up, over, and whammo.
Every time I watch this episode, I find something new. Two scientists secretly plan to steal a top-secret ship to save their families from a planet on the brink of nuclear war. The atmosphere is heavy with fear, the shadows, the close-ups, the quiet moments between father and daughter. But complications arise. Their superior becomes suspicious, eavesdropping on them and trying to stop them. In a tension-filled climax, they're able to get past the guards and launch the ship safely into space. The payoff, of course, is one of the series' most poetic twists. The planet they're fleeing to is Earth, as the title states, third from the sun. It's a mirror turned right back on us, forcing us to face our own destructive tendencies. The ship model was reused from the classic movie Forbidden Planet, which adds to its sci-fi charm. And that sleek, noir cinematography, man, it's gorgeous. Every frame feels like a pulp magazine cover brought to life. What makes it one of my favorites is its emotional honesty. It's not about monsters or revenge. It's about ordinary people desperate to save what matters most, holding on to hope when the rest of the world's gone mad. Number 9. Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up? Season 2, Episode 28.
You're not even wet. Wet. What's wet?
Now this one is just plain fun. Here we have a snowstorm, a crashed spaceship, a bus full of strangers, a rundown diner, and two state troopers convinced that one of those passengers isn't human. The driver swears he had 6 people on board, but 7 are sitting there sipping coffee. What a crazy setup. As the lights flicker and suspicion spreads, everyone turns on each other, with Jack Elam's bug-eyed crazy man providing some weird comic relief. Serling builds tension like Hitchcock, but with a wink, reminding us that fear and laughter often live side by side. And that final reveal? The businessman with his third arm, then the cook lifting his hat to show his 3 eyes. It still gets me every time. It's so perfectly absurd and so Twilight Zone. I think what makes this one a personal favorite is how it captures the spirit of the early 60s with its Cold War paranoia and a sci-fi twist. Whenever I rewatch this episode, I'm reminded that Serling had an incredible knack for character development and snappy dialogue, all within 25 minutes. He made paranoia feel like a party. Number 8, The Howling Man, Season 2, Episode 5. This one was written by Charles Beaumont, and it's gothic, chilling, and endlessly rewatchable. The Howling Man is the kind of story that gets under your skin even when you know how it ends. A weary traveler lost in a thunderstorm finds refuge at a remote European monastery where monks are keeping a prisoner locked behind bars. The prisoner begs for help, claiming he's innocent. The monks insist that he's the devil himself. The tension builds perfectly, and when the traveler finally opens that cell door, all hell literally breaks loose. The devil's transformation scene, achieved with clever dissolves and makeup trickery, was one of the most ambitious effects of the series. It's my favorite kind of Twilight Zone horror, not about punishment, but about the consequences of doubt. That one moment of weakness that unleashes something irreversible. The monk's warning that the devil's greatest trick is convincing you he doesn't exist still gives me goosebumps and is still relevant in today's world. Number 7. The Dummy, Season 3, Episode 33.
What do you say? We get down to business.
This episode scared the hell out of me the first time I saw it. A ventriloquist dummy that's alive? That's nightmare fuel for any kid, and yet, it's so much deeper than that. Cliff Robertson plays Jerry Etherson, a struggling ventriloquist, convinced that his dummy Willie is alive, mocking him, taunting him, controlling him. His agent thinks he's drinking again, but when the dummy finally moves on its own, Jerry's descent into madness feels horrifyingly real. The final twist, where Jerry and the dummy switch places, is one of the Twilight Zone's most unsettling moments. That last close-up of Willie with Jerry's terrified eyes is still unforgettable. The ventriloquist dummy trope wasn't new, but Serling made it feel tragic. It's about losing control of your art, your mind, your identity. Cliff Robertson plays it so straight that the absurdity feels utterly believable. The dummy Willie later reappeared in another Twilight Zone episode, Caesar and Me, and became something of his own mascot. For anyone who's ever put too much of themselves into their craft, letting it consume them, this episode really hits home. Number 6, And When the Sky Was Opened, Season 1, Episode 11.
It's like I didn't belong here. Like if I was to let myself go.
This one really gets under your skin. It deals with loss of identity, disappearance, and the complete erasure of your very existence. Taken from a story by Richard Matheson, with a teleplay by Serling, 3 astronauts return from a mission in the X-20 spaceplane, but one disappears. Then another. Soon, even their names vanish from the newspapers. It's as if reality itself is tidying up a mistake. Rod Taylor's performance as Colonel Clegg Forbes is heartbreaking. He's watching his world erase him in real time. You can feel his panic turn into disbelief, then quiet resignation. Matheson's story Disappearing Act gave Serling the perfect backbone for one of his most haunting scripts. No special effects, no grand sets, just a man and the slow unraveling of his existence. This one always hits me hard because it taps into a fear we all have. Being forgotten, erased, as if we were never here and our existence never mattered. There's something profoundly human about that terror, and knowing that Taylor went on to star in The Time Machine a year later feels somehow poetic. He went from vanishing from time to controlling it. I love this episode because it's not typical sci-fi. It's about what happens when the universe quietly decides you're not supposed to exist anymore. Number 5, One for the Angels, Season 1, Episode 2.
1 minute past 12, Mr. Bookman. And you made me miss my appointment.
Thank God.
This episode feels like Serling's heart is on the screen. It's whimsical, bittersweet, and deeply humane. Ed Wynn stars as Lou Bookman, a kindly old street peddler who sells and repairs toys and trinkets and is adored by the children in his neighborhood. When Mr. Death, played by Murray Hamilton, appears to collect him, Bookman pleads for more time to make one big pitch. One for the Angels. Death agrees, but when Lou uses that time selfishly, a little girl's life ends up on the line. To save her, Bookman makes the greatest sales pitch of his life, to Mr. Death. His sincerity and charm actually win Death over, and he keeps his promise. One final, perfect sale, and the saving of the little girl's life. What makes this one of my personal favorite episodes is its warmth and humanity. It's early Twilight Zone, when the show was still finding its footing, and yet it already carried Serling's trademark compassion. Ed Wynn, known mostly for comedy, gives such a heartfelt performance that you can't help but smile through the tears, and you will tear up at the end of this episode. This was only the show's second episode ever aired, and Serling wrote it specifically for Wynn, who'd been a mentor figure to many young actors. It's proof that the Twilight Zone wasn't always dark. Sometimes it was full of light. Number 4, Nothing in the Dark, Season 3, Episode 16.
Mother, give me your hand.
This one always gets me right in the heart. It's quiet, tender, and deeply human. The kind of story only the Twilight Zone could tell. Gladys Cooper plays Wanda Dunn, an old woman barricaded in her crumbling tenement, terrified of one thing: Death himself. She's convinced that if she ever lets anyone inside, Death will take her. When a wounded young policeman, played by a very young Robert Redford, begs for help, she finally lets her guard down and brings him in. The twist, of course, is that Redford is Mr. Death himself, both gentle and kind. It still gives me the chills. There's no malice, no skith, just a soft-spoken presence guiding her to her final resting place. It's a masterclass in emotional storytelling. It's a favorite for me in the way that it's comforting. It's about learning that death isn't something to fear. It's just another doorway. Redford's warmth, Cooper's heartbreaking vulnerability, and that final gentle touch by Redford. That's pure Twilight Zone magic. It's a beautiful episode and one I could watch over and over again. Number 3, The Changing of the Guard, Season 3, Episode 37.
Now, where do you suppose I ever got the idea that I was accomplishing anything?
This one's an incredibly emotional episode that gets me every time. Donald Pleasance gives an amazing performance as Professor Ellis Fowler, an aging English teacher forced into retirement after decades of teaching boys at a prep school. Feeling useless and forgotten, he decides to take his own life on Christmas Eve, until the ghosts of his former students appear to remind him of the lives that he's changed. It's a wonderful life through the lens of the Twilight Zone, and it's every bit as moving. Pleasance's performance is quietly devastating, the kind of melancholy only age can bring. When he finally realizes he has made a difference, that his students remember him fondly, it's impossible not to tear up. The everlasting message is what makes this episode one of my favorites. I think about it every time I wonder whether the work that we do actually matters. Serling wrote it during a low point in his career, and you can feel that ache in every line. This one's a love letter to our life's legacy and to our purpose in life. Number 2, Shadow Play, Season 2, Episode 26. Written by Charles Beaumont, this is one episode that I never get tired of. Adam Grant, played by Dennis Weaver, swears he's trapped in a recurring nightmare. He's a criminal on death row, and every time he's executed, the world resets, and he has to live it again, over and over. Everyone around him, judge, warden, reporter, they're just figments of his mind. But the way he pleads with them, begging them to understand that they'll cease to exist when he dies, it's gut-wrenching. Beaumont's script, adapted from a short story Traumerei, is philosophical horror at its finest. The title itself, Shadow Play, refers to ancient puppetry, hinting that we're all just silhouettes dancing in someone else's flickering consciousness. Even the little detail of a prisoner playing Red River Valley on a harmonica adds this weird, haunting normalcy to an otherwise cosmic nightmare. For me, this one sums up what makes the Twilight Zone so special. It's not just about twists or scares, it's also about empathy. It makes you feel for a man who might be crazy, or who might just be a god dreaming the world. Either way, you want him to wake up. Every time I watch Shadow Play, I wonder, if this really is a dream, how would I know? And that, my friend, is what keeps me coming back to the Twilight Zone. Number 1, The Obsolete Man, Season 2, Episode 29. It's tough coming up with a number 1 Twilight Zone, but this episode is pure Rod Serling, defiant, poetic, and furious. Burgess Meredith plays Romney Wordsworth, a librarian in a totalitarian state where books, religion, and individuality have been outlawed. Declared obsolete by the Chancellor, he's sentenced to death, but allowed to choose the method. Wordsworth calmly arranges for his execution to be televised and invites the Chancellor to watch. As the clock ticks, Wordsworth reveals that he's locked them both in the room, with a hidden bomb. He calmly reads scripture as the Chancellor begs for mercy. It's an incredible showdown of conviction versus cowardice. This is an incredible episode because it feels personal. You can feel Serling's own war with censorship and conformity in every word. The ending, where the Chancellor is later declared obsolete himself, is one of the show's sharpest reversals of power. It's Twilight Zone at its purest. Truth versus tyranny, courage versus silence. Every time I rewatch it, I'm reminded why Serling's voice is timeless and still matters today. These 10 episodes are just scratching the surface of great Twilight Zone stories. There are many others in the series that also stand the test of time and hold up to repeat viewings. I just can't cover them all here. It's a testament to the quality of the storytelling. Rod Serling built his worlds out of cardboard sets and borrowed props, but what he created was timeless, a universe where compassion and conscience still mattered. When the lights dim and that eerie music begins, we don't just see aliens and time travelers. We see people trying to make sense of the impossible. And somehow, in that strange half-light between fear and wonder, the Twilight Zone simply feels like home. This is Rich from Rerun Zone. Thanks for watching, and good night.